morning. It's Wednesday again, third video. All right, so I wanted to share my law of attraction story that I kind of alluded to it before, but I just think it's amazing. But I wanted to share why or when things started to change. So some of you know that I've been with the agency for about 16 years, and over that course of time, I've had some really horrendous supervisors, and they have just treated me just badly. I won't go into the details, but just badly. Where they were just bullies, and they enjoyed doing it. And it happened for over a decade. It happened for years. And the thing is, when I started transforming, when I started learning about what really is, how things really work, I stopped reacting in a way that was out of harmony with love. I started to recognize why things were happening to me. I realized that it's really not the other person's fault as to why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, or even the reason why they're not the reason why I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing. Like, when I really truly understood that I was creating all of it, I took a step back and I stopped doing some things. And one of those things I stopped doing was hating people. Like, I stopped wishing them bad things, or bad things happening to them. I stopped blaming them for things. I just stopped being angry at them. I just stopped hating them. I really did. I stopped it. And it came out in my responses to them, because they would still do things that were considered bullying. They were still doing it. Nobody in the agency cared. I mean, I wrote letters to the human resources. I talked to people, other, higher ups, and nobody did anything. Nobody did anything at all. Like, my words just fell upon deaf ears. And so that's when I was able to understand that I had the power. Before, I felt they had the power to control me. And I realized that I was really controlling myself in a negative way. My responses started to change, and I noticed a difference in them. At first, it was like shock, because they liked to see the fact that I could see that they were controlling them. That's what they were getting out of it. They were able to do things to make me feel less than. They were able to do things to control me, even though they knew I didn't want to do it. But they knew, because of the rank, because of the hierarchy, I had to do it. And when I stopped responding to the little things that they would do, because they would give me tasks on purpose that were not my responsibility. They would move deadlines all the time to make it more difficult. And I stopped huffing and puffing, and I just said, okay, that's it. I just said, okay. That's all. That's how I changed. My response was like, okay, because my response wasn't, oh my God, I'm getting more work. My response and my true feeling within myself is, I can do it. I can do it. It doesn't matter what it is. I can do it. Like, I'm that capable. Like, I'm that person. I know I'm that person. I'm good at what I do. The things that I apply myself to. I can do anything. I can really do anything. Like, I do have that kind of confidence that I'm a capable individual. And so when they started changing or throwing these tasks at me, I just like, hey, it's just another task. I can do it. No problem. I mean, like, they moved reports up an entire week. They only gave me before I had a whole week to do it. Then I had a day to do it. I mean, that's how they kept moving things, and they kept moving it because I wasn't giving the same responses that I used to give. And so as I started, progressing even more, they tried to take things away from me. And I was like, okay, before I was like, well, why are you taking this? It's not fair, blah, 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 blah. I just said, okay. It wasn't that I felt like as if I was losing anything. I just simply understood that what they're taking away from me really isn't mine. It's the agency's. You can take this away from me. Like, I had, a great office set up. They took it away from me. They just did. They moved me from one office to a small cubbyhole. This is what they did. They took comforts away from me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just here to do a task. This is what I'm here to do. I know that they are, angry people, because angry, miserable people are the only people who would do such a thing. And I was starting to learn this, and I was like, oh, it's not me. It's not me. It's them. They're the angry bastards. And this is where I started to have compassion and sympathy for these people, because I understood how miserable they were, and they didn't even know it. And the thing is, when I was responding in like, I was becoming just as miserable and angry as they are. It's like that bad apple, that moldy bad apple. If you don't take it away, it's just going to make the other ones just like it. So I had to just separate myself from that. I'm like, okay, you can sit there being rotten if you want to, but I'm not going to be rotten. So whatever, I'm a capable person. Whatever anybody throws at me, I can do, and if I can't do it, I'll learn it so that I have a new skill. That's it. That's how I saw it. Like, I saw it as a potential for growth, but I didn't see it as a potential for growth in that respect. Like, I didn't say, oh, this is a potential for growth. I just said, hey, I'm capable. I can do anything anybody throws at me, and that was a belief that I had. That was a knowing that I had. But after a while, when I totally like removed this person from my mind, like I wouldn't think about them anymore. I wouldn't think about the things that they did. I wouldn't think about how negative they are. I wouldn't think about how painful they are. Like, I really just kind of removed them from my consciousness, my conscious mind. And before you know it, that person quit. And the same thing with another director who was over that person who was treating me badly. This is why I was able to go on, because they both didn't like me. But the thing is that the immediate supervisor didn't like me because the higher up supervisor didn't like me. And this is how it came to be, you know, and how it was supported and it was sustained for so long. But the same thing happened with that one. I saw the degradation in that person's soul. I saw what was happening to them in their personal lives, in their work lives. I started becoming aware of things that were going on in the agency with them and other people. But this information only came to me after I started releasing myself from bondage. The bondage that I was creating, I started releasing myself from that, and I started to see it. And I couldn't hate them anymore, because the only thing I could have is compassion, because I truly understood the dynamics of what was going on in that moment, why the things were happening. And recently that person left. And there's other people who were creating a lot of chaos within the workplace, and those people left. And that's the thing is, and that's my whole point of this whole video, is that I changed. It took a while. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say, oh, it happened overnight. No, it took a while. It took about a year for the first one to leave. It took about a year for the first one to leave. The second one a little bit more time. But that person was in a different place where they weren't affecting me as much. And eventually they just left. And that has happened with all people in my life. When I change, everything else around me changes. But what's most important is when they were still present, you are foolish. When they were still present, my experiences were different, because I was different. And that's where the real change happens. Sometimes it's not the external things that change in order for you to see a difference in your experience. It's you that changes first, because you perceive the experiences differently. And this is how you change your immediate experience with the events that are taking place. It takes time, but when you change internally, your experiences change immediately. The things around you may not move, the chess pieces may not move, but your experience around those chess pieces is what changes, and that is what is most important. That is what is most important, is your experience. Remember, we are here for an experience. So if we're able to change ourselves internally, our soul condition, we feel different, we have a different experience, we continue that trend, and then what happens is the chess pieces start to move. And before you know it, the chess pieces that were causing you so much pain, the chess pieces, or that was once causing you so much pain, that no longer cause you that kind of pain because you don't respond to it in the same way, before you know it, they're removed completely. But that's just the last piece. The piece that's important is you. The internal changes within yourself. The soul changes. That's what's most important. And if you can change that, then you have it all, people. You have it all, because it's like you can be sitting in a pile of shit, but if you don't smell it, you're not affected by it. You're not affected by it. That's the way it works. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right, everybody. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday again, and I will talk.